Hi everyone, today's mini lesson is on drafting a personal narrative of how have I and you changed the world in some way. So personal narratives are a very powerful genre within any topic because what it does is it takes the topic that you're talking about and brings it down to an individual level. It makes the story and the concept of what you're writing about more personable and more relatable and understandable to the reader. It provides a real life example of what you're talking about. I know as a reader, if I'm reading a personal narrative, I am reading an account written by a real person. So I know as a reader that it's happened and it's achievable and I can better understand and relate to it because I know it's actually happened. And by writing a personal narrative, an author can be an inspiration to others because you're documenting something that you have done. And by me as a reader, when I read someone's personal narrative, I can really become inspired by what has been said and what has been done because I know the author, I know what you're talking about, I can relate to it. It makes it more achievable and understandable. So I have written a personal narrative about how I feel I have changed the world some way through action, and I wanted to write that down because by giving it to you in written form, you can have a better understanding. So I noticed that every year that I am a teacher, there are students that do not have the school supplies they need. I know that having school supplies can help students learn and help them like school more. I had heard about a school supply drive at a local church. I asked if I could help in some way. They told me to bring in any extra school supplies I may have, so I did. I showed up that morning with a donation of pencils, glue, colored pencils, and notebooks. I also offered to stay and volunteer by helping pass out school supplies to the families. I knew that this helped my community because so many people came needing supplies, and I was able to see their smiling faces as I gave them materials. I knew that child was happy and that so were their parents because they were able to get things for their kids that they couldn't afford. When I left that day, I knew I had helped others and made an impact on so many people's lives. So this personal narrative was a way for me as an author to document an example of what the genre is all about and describing it in a way to where readers can relate to it because they know that someone actually did this. And so by writing it down in written form, that is powerful. That in and of itself is taking action because you're not only writing it down, but by writing it down, you can give it to other people and they can read it. You're passing it on. And so that way people can read what has happened, read a part of history so they know that it can be achieved. So what I want you to do is because everybody can achieve change and act towards change in some way. So what I want you to do is I want you to get together with your group of 4 and take turns talking. I want you to think about how you have changed the world in some way because everybody has. And I want you to have that discussion and listen to everybody's ideas and pasts of how they have changed the world in some way and how they interpret that topic. And so after your discussion, what I want you to do is I want you to take those ideas from that conversation and I want you to use that as a spark to start writing your personal narrative, your story of how you took action and changed the world in some way. Because not only through the action, but through the writing of your story, you are providing examples and you are changing the world in some way. So the reason this is so important is because when you share your personal story, it can help the readers better understand what you're talking about. It gives them a real example. It brings it down to reality for them. It says, yeah, this happened in life and I know it can be done. And so it makes it more understandable, more relatable. It really brings it home to the reader. they know that someone's done it. So they think, if someone else has done it, maybe I can do it too. So it can actually be a source of inspiration, because not only through your actions of writing it down, but through your actions of taking action, it can spark someone to think, hey, I've experienced that too. Maybe I could try this. So it's just putting information out there, real information that's happened. And so it can be a very powerful source of information. So again, I want you to go take your ideas from that conversation and go use those as sparks to start writing your personal narrative. Happy writing!